Occasionally, I receive an email or reply from the website form saying something like the following. I want to be an actor because it's what I've always dreamed of. Then, the writer of the letter usually adds, but I don't know how to start, and there are no opportunities where I'm from. Now, when I get this kind of correspondence, my first reaction is sadness for the author. Really. Somehow they feel stuck or uninspired to find a way to act on their dreams. Okay, pun was intended there. This episode is for everyone who has a dream, but finds it hard to embrace the reality that acting as a profession takes hard work, determination, creativity, and support from others. Having the dream is great. Turning the dream into positive, motivational steps is the best way to make the dream a reality. So, you want to be an actor? Find out how on this episode of Casting Actors Cast.
It's time for another episode of Casting Actors Cast, insights for actors from a casting director. Here he is, your host, Jeffrey Dreisbach.
Well, hello. And welcome to today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. I'm casting director Jeffrey Dreisbach with the McCorkle Group. Welcoming you to yet another episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm having a good day, and it's even better now that you're here. Hey, listen, if you haven't checked out the website of Casting Actors Cast, I invite you to do so. CastingActorsCast.com, all one word. You're going to find all kinds of awesome information and some freebies. If you fill out that form that says dive into the talent pool, it's right there on the landing page. You're going to get some freebies, absolutely free. One is a video that I put together. It's a private video called Casting Secrets, what they don't tell you. But guess what? I'm going to tell you in this free video. Also, there's a book that you can download. It's 100 pages. It's a PDF all about doing voiceover work. It's called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio, the voiceover workshop for professional actors. Now, you can go ahead and go on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and you can you can order the entire book, but that costs money. You can actually have it for free by simply clicking on that book form. Also, there's a place there called Jeff's Jots. And so these are corresponding show notes to past episodes of Casting Actors Cast. So please check that out. Also, if you don't mind, another favor, if you're enjoying the podcast, if this is something that you listen to on a regular basis, I am so grateful. Or if you're new, if you like what you're here, I would appreciate so much a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you get this podcast video. By the way, we're simulcasting on YouTube, so you can actually watch me doing the podcast if you'd like. But it would be great if you could spread the word. I'm on a mission to try to get as many interested folks to jump into that talent pool so that we can continue to grow this community of like-minded individuals and help you through the weird navigation sometimes about what it is to be an actor. That's why I am here. All right, now the last shameless promotional announcement I have for you today is regarding Actors Connection. There's a really special event taking place on September 8th, 2022. It's at 4:30 p.m. It's a live back-to-school broadcast being done with Actors Connection. I'm really excited about this. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, but we're doing a special back-to-school episode. And it's done on Facebook, and it's their Facebook account, but you have to go to actorsconnection.com/New York. Then check out the Facebook widget, whatever it is on their website, but it's going to be me live. I would love to meet you. I would love to hear from you. Maybe you can ask some questions, and we're going to just chat for about a half an hour, and that's taking place on September 8th. I believe the time is 4:30 p.m. It would be so awesome if you could join us. So thank you so much for that. Let's get into the subject now. Before we start giving you information about what it is to be an actor, and so you want to be an actor, and so how do you do that? I think the best way to begin this discussion today is to really present you with some questions that I feel need to be answered first. And once you answer these questions, by the way, you might want to get a pencil and paper if you're so inclined, but once you answer these questions, I'm going to exactly lay out why these questions are really helpful for you to get a perfect strategy for having a career as an actor. So I hope that makes sense. So settle back, listen in. Here are some questions I want you to ask yourself. And there's no particular order of these questions, by the way, but I just think these are really important questions for you to answer. When was the first time you knew you wanted to act? So when was the first time you said to yourself, I want to do that? What were the circumstances? What happened? Next question. What type of performance do you admire the most? Do you admire seeing actors on stage? Is it on screen, whether it's the big screen or whether it's the television screen? Also, do you admire musicals over dramas or comedies over musicals? And why? Next question. What are the current options where you live for training, for classes, for workshops? For example, are there community theaters in your area that you could make a connection with? Perhaps there's even a local college or community college. Maybe even high school drama clubs if you're still in high school. If you don't have a drama club, guess what? You could start one. But the idea is to do a little more outreach than perhaps you've done to this point, to really see if there is nothing out there. Then you can answer the following questions. If there are no local options, then what online research can you or have you done for yourself? Now, I've spent a lot of time talking about all kinds of opportunities that are going on out there. You don't have to necessarily be in person for getting exceptionally good training. Both colleges, universities, high schools, but there's also places like Actors Connection. There's also all kinds of drama schools that will be happy to work with you online. So have you done that research? Have you figured out what might be best for you? Okay, let's move on to the next question. What TV, what film, what performances have you seen recently that got you excited? In other words, are you binging something? During COVID, I know we've all been binging stuff, right? I know I have. My eyeballs are falling out of my head. I've been watching so much stuff. But have you seen something that really touched you in a really special way? What I mean by that is something that you said to yourself, wow, I could do that. I could be in that. I see myself doing that. So I guess the question is, what have you seen that got you really excited? And then ask the question, why? What was it about that particular thing that you saw, whether it was something live or whether it was a film that you watched or whether it was something that you've been binging? Why? Why did you get so excited? What was it about the work that made you interested? Here's another question. It's a simple one, but maybe hard to answer for some of you. Why do you want to be an actor? Why do you want to be an actor? Some people, I think, answer the following ways. They say, oh, I love performing. A lot of people don't say this because they think it's embarrassing, but some people say, I just want to be famous. Some people would respond to that question by saying, I just like playing other people. Or it's a creative outlet for myself. Or I just want to express myself by playing other people, which I think is really kind of an interesting reason. And one I heard recently from an actor says, I just want to do work that could change or influence others. So I think that's kind of an interesting answer as well. Let's go on to the next question to ask yourself. Now, we're asking questions that you need to answer first. Before we can answer the question, you want to be an actor? And here's the next question. How willing are you to make the commitment as an actor? In other words, I'm not necessarily saying you have to go, I'm in it 110%. I've always felt that was a little bit hyperbolic, frankly. You have a life to live, but you also have a dream. Can you find the balance and make the commitment to being an actor? That's really the question that I want you to answer. What are the infringements on your time, but yet are helpful for you to achieve the goal? Let's move on from there. The next question, what support do you have in place for your plan? What I mean by support is family, friends. Do you have enough time in your life to open up those opportunities that we're talking about here today? That's the kind of support that I'm talking about. Also, the kind of support you need is financial, like if you're going to be starting to take some classes, or even if you're going to a community theater and maybe it's 25 miles away, you got to pay for the gas to get there, right? So the support means all of those things on that checklist of yours that need to be done before you can move forward with what your plan is. Next question. What's your backup plan? Now, I know people always hate that, right? Well, I want to be 100% dedicated and I really just want to act and I really just want... Well, you know what? Life happens, and sometimes it doesn't happen the way you really want it to. It might happen in a way that you didn't expect. So it's important for you to really have a plan, but then, frankly, what's the backup plan? The what if scenario? What if the community theater decides to fold because no one is buying tickets or going to the theater? You need to know, well, in that case, what can you do in a creative way that can still help you move forward with your dream? Let's move on from there. What are the skills you need for becoming an actor? So what skills do you need for becoming an actor? Now, some would say, I don't need any skills. I'm just naturally talented. Well, that's great. I think that's great. But let me just present to you some thoughts. Many times actors need to get themselves in good physical shape. Maybe some actors would benefit from taking a movement class. It doesn't have to be a hard line kind of dance class, but a movement class for actors. Clearly, I think actors are smart if they also take a voice class, if they really want to work on developing their instrument to the best of their ability. Voice and speaking. Did you hear what I just did? I went, voice, so I got to go back to training, I think. Voice and speaking are really important, valuable assets for the actor. So why not develop that skill set to the best of your ability? Now, in a more intellectual thought, why not take a class about script analysis? Why not find out about screenwriting? So any of those areas that you think would be well served in studying a little more in depth, you must put on your list of things to consider. Now, I alluded to this earlier, but the next question is, what resources do you have to draw on? Now, the resources we're talking about, of course, are financial, right? Do you have enough money in the bank? Are you able to afford this? Now, there are all kinds of free options that are out there. That's great. But, everything also has a cost factor. So there may be some emotional commitments that you need to make. It may be difficult for you to find out the time. There may be professional resources that are being asked of you that you just have a difficult time putting together. So any of those things you need to draw on by really analyzing, do you have all of those ducks in a row? And then If you have a plan, that's great. What's your plan? Now, if you don't have a plan to doing these things, why not? Why not? So just by asking those questions, you can formulate a plan that is going to help you achieve those goals. And that's exciting, and that should be fun. This should not be tedious and painful. This should be exciting and optimistic and positive. So now let's move into the next segment of this podcast, this podio, these podcast videos. Why are these questions important? Let's answer that. You see, if you answer all of those questions and you take a little bit of time with each of these questions, by the way, you know what? This podio might be something you need to listen to a couple of times just so that perhaps you can write down these questions and really spend some time answering them. But let's answer the question, why are they important? Why are the questions I've just asked you to answer important? One, most importantly, it's motivation for an acting career. Motivation for an acting career come from within. They must come from within you, and an emotional and in an intellectual way. You see, it's not enough to want something if you don't have a plan. So motivation is the number one reason why those questions that you've just answered can be really helpful. The second is projecting how you might fit into the industry. When I ask you questions about what shows have you been watching or binging recently that got you excited, that's you projecting how you might fit into the industry. And that can really clarify your strategy and help set those goals. So each of those questions have a specific motivational reason for you to accomplish your dream. No successful acting career was ever accomplished alone. I can tell you that firsthand, and I can also tell you with the many, many actors I feel like I've been able to help, I know that those actors probably would have had a different, if not more difficult time without the support of someone in their corner. So please embrace that concept that this is not something that you have to do completely on your own, that you can and should really connect with other people. Either they're like-minded people or people that are a little bit further along than you that might be able to help you. Knowing that that is absolutely critical should be reassuring and should not feel more stressful. Resource and financial support, that means financial and emotional support, can really make the difference. It really does help for you to have that kind of external influence so that you can be completely ready to answer the question, so you want to be an actor? I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach. This is Casting Actors Cast.
Thank you for joining Casting Actors Cast. Please don't forget to review, like, and share Casting Actors Cast wherever you get your podcast videos. Thanks! I'm Megan Grace Martinez.